Hello and welcome, everyone. If you're here joining us live today or listening into the recording, I so appreciate you taking this time on the new moon, the dark moon, a time to get still, a time to listen deeply to yourself without distractions or noise, and a time to set your intentions for the upcoming month. So we're in May, and the new moon is in Taurus, the sign of the moon and also the sun. So the sun and moon are both in Taurus, and they're governed at this time by Venus. So the theme is earthly love, if you will. Taurus is known, like I mentioned before in the email, it's an earth sign, so it's very grounded and rooted. The other qualities of Taurus are being that you're a sensualist, so you're invoking the senses, and very much pleasure-driven. But there's also a dark side to this, of course, is stubbornness. So during our guided meditation, we're going to focus on invoking the senses, so you can get into a place of gratitude and contentment. And we're going to look at perseverance, so that you may make progress step by step, baby steps, and you can develop a solid foundation. And then enjoying pleasure, so that you release any self-doubt that you don't deserve it. So you get in touch with your self-worth. Oftentimes I talk to women who don't allow themselves that pleasure of taking time out for themselves. We just had Mother's Day here in the US, and I wrote a newsletter yesterday about how can we best mother ourselves? How can we be our own mothers? Either in the absence of not having our mother, or being a mother, a literal mother, and not tending to your own needs as you do your dependents. Or if you're not a literal mother, how can you be your best mother? So I'm just weaving in that invitation too during this new moon and any new moon. How can we best tend to ourselves? Just by being here today, you're attending to yourself. I create what I call a dark womb space in my office here. I have the drapes closed, and then obviously I have this virtual background that for me really puts me in that space. So when you come to these new moon gatherings online, I really invite you to create your own sacred space, a place where you can just escape, a place that is yours, that if you have other people in the house, that they know this is your time so that you won't be disturbed. And if you have any aromatherapy, or if you want to burn some sage to clear the space, by all means do. I do invite you to light a candle. So I'm going to light mine now. So if you don't have one, this is for all of us. And if you do, by all means, get your candle out now and light it. Our ancestors would gather under the new moon and sit together in quiet contemplation. And obviously there would be a fire around the space too. So we're creating or recreating that sacred space that our ancestors, our female lineage, used to do. And by using the candle, we are creating a hearth, so to speak. So I'd like to start out by reading you a poem. This is a poem that I wrote, so I'll share this with you right now. So I recommend you close your eyes, if you will, if you're comfortable, if you're sitting comfortable. Beauty bound with endless love, waxing and waning, as is below, so is above. Intention set in solitude and grace, moontime blessings will come in time and space. Ocean tides and waves dance in rhythm. Stand strong. Get quiet. Listen. 'Tis time to breathe and envision. I'll read that again at the end. So I'd like to begin our ceremony in quiet contemplation, meditation. So if you are in a comfortable place, make yourself even more comfortable. We're focusing on the pleasure-driven, sensual aspects of Taurus. So if you can, you could even lie on the floor. If you have a blanket, something soft, a pillow for under your leg. I studied a little yoga nidra last year with Tracy Stanley, and she calls her quiet rest time with yoga nidra creating a nest, which I so love that idea of that we're creating a nest for ourselves during this dark moon phase. And of course, anytime you want to go within and tap into your innate sensual rhythms. So if you're able to lie down, by all means do. If not, sitting comfortably in a chair of your choice, and just let my voice guide you into a realm of dream time, intuition time during this dark moon. So in order for us to totally receive this precious meditation time, it's important that you are comfortable. So please get yourself as comfortable as you can. And if you have an eye pillow, even better. If you don't have that handy, we can remember that for next month. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes. If not, just leave them gently open, just gazing softly. And let's take 3 deep breaths, inhaling and filling your lungs, and then exhaling. And as you feel that wave, that exhale wave, just imagine it drifting throughout your whole body. And you'll notice on each inhale and exhale, the exhale as you start to relax and sink into the ground or sink into your chair will get longer and longer as your body relaxes and surrenders. I'd like to invite you to imagine stillness in your body, with your eyes closed or just gently gazing. Be aware of the space that you're occupying. And imagine now that you're drawing a circle of protection around your body. And this can be anything you want. It could be fire, divine light, your favorite flowers, fresh soil, limbs of a tree, or a wall of clay, whatever calls to you. Just establish this circle of protection around yourself and see and feel yourself inside this circle. And as you become more still, just begin to feel the breath as it enters your nostrils. And feel it travel into your lungs, where it dissipates. Then follow its path all the way to somewhere outside your body, where it dissolves again. You're not controlling your breath. You're just observing your belly rise and fall. Just breathing in and out. And just now feel yourself lying on the earth, supporting you, grounded, rooted. And just slowly scan gently through your body and become aware of how you're holding it. Let the awareness move around, noticing any sounds without judgment. Let all the sounds, if there are any, be there. You are on the inside of this circle. The sounds are on the circumference. And our intention for today is, I am a wise being who has access to endless fountains of sacred wisdom. I use my gifts of wisdom and discernment to hold healing space for others as well as our planet. So know the earth can hold you. Now notice any parts of your body that are touching the floor. Begin at your feet and scan upwards. Feel your heels touching the floor. Feel the next point where your body contacts the floor. And all the way up to the top of your head. Calves on the floor. The backs of your thighs. Your buttocks. Parts of your spine. Your shoulder blades. And the back of your head. feel all of these body parts becoming heavier. Just notice your body breathing. And as your body receives an inhalation, sense the earth rising up to hold and cradle you. It's as though the involuntary act of inhaling is calling the earth toward you. As your body exhales, ask it to surround and surrender you into the earth. Every in-breath invites the earth to support you even more, and every out-breath is a trusting acceptance that you deserve to be held. And as you feel yourself being cradled and supported, I want you to recall a time where you were not maybe using all your senses. Maybe you doubted that you deserved to take in sensuality in all ways. Maybe you didn't allow yourself time to drink in the senses. Maybe you didn't put value on invoking the senses. Maybe you rushed through an activity and didn't totally drink in the senses. Let's ask yourself why. Do you feel worthy of it? And then alternatively, think of a time when you did allow yourself that precious, sensual moment. Maybe you went on a hike or went to visit a botanical garden where you saw all Mother Nature's wonders, butterflies, birds, the sky, and you actually took time to drink it all in. How did that feel? Another part of the Taurus quality is being rooted, having strong foundations. And along with that comes perseverance. Being rooted, just as we plant vegetables and flowers in our gardens, we allow time and a strong foundation for it to grow. We have patience. We feed it with love and light and water. And we persevere. We don't give up. So are your roots firmly planted? Or do you need to build a stronger foundation? How can you establish strong roots? Do you need help? They say it takes a village to raise children. I know many women give praise to other women supporting them in raising children. Oftentimes we want to do it ourselves, but it's okay. It's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. And Taurus also invites us to enjoy pleasure. Sure, there are neurotransmitters that transmit the feel-good hormones, and that's why we chase pleasure. We can be pleasure-driven or fear-driven. What are you? And there are many forms of pleasure. Could be in food, fine food and drink, your surroundings. Do you deny yourself that feel-good hormone? So the shadow side of Taurus is stubbornness. So are you afraid to move and see change or make change? Everything is evolving, changing all the time. We can't stop that. And sure, you might need a plan, of course, so that you're deeply rooted. But oftentimes we need a little space and time to see where we may be stubborn, so we can chip away a little at that control and trust. Now just think of ways either you've been stubborn, or you have a friend who's stubborn who maybe you've helped in the past, or business partner, or client. Let's bring that awareness in now. Each new moon offers us a time to set intentions for the month ahead, and also as we gather here every month, we can look back on last month and see what our intentions were. Maybe something needs revisiting or not. So if you start slowly deepening your breath, We're going to slowly transition out of the meditation. Noticing everything around you during this transition. Welcome yourself back. Take note of your breath. And when you're ready, you can sit up and take your journal. If you still need a bit of time, that's fine. If you want to slowly roll up onto your right side first, then come up. And we're going to spend a few minutes in self-inquiry. So I'm sure you had lots to think about during that meditation. We'll focus on three questions. So the first one is, where have you held yourself back in enjoying pleasure? Where have you held yourself back in enjoying pleasure? Do you have good role models around you? Growing up in a big family, I never saw my mother taking pleasure. It was very rare. So I didn't have a role model. And I think that's why I'm such a sensualist now. Make up for it. Do you truly believe you deserve to enjoy pleasure? If you were to put it on a graph, how important is it to you on a scale of 1 to 10? And if it's a little low currently, how can you bring more attention to enjoying pleasure? How can you prioritize it? Maybe you can allocate one day a week to really enjoy some pleasure, or have a little dose of it, a little sprinkle of it every day. Maybe you could invite somebody to share it with you, your partner, a friend, or maybe you prefer some alone time. And our next question is, where are your roots? And are they firmly planted? Or do you need to strengthen the foundations? And part of loving yourself in this new moon in Taurus, and the sun's in Taurus, governed by Venus, is loving yourself. So do you need support in order to strengthen your foundation? And we know that planting new seeds takes time for something to show. So we need to have perseverance and tend to ourselves as we do our gardens or our inner gardens. Are you asking for what you want in your relationship in order to strengthen the foundation? I was talking to somebody yesterday, and she was expressing how disappointed she was with her Mother's Day. As as women, we're so good at celebrating everybody else. We put a lot of time and effort in, and I can totally relate to being disappointed. But the key thing is, she had high expectations and she didn't really ask for what she wanted. She was just hoping that her family would create this magical day. So she recognized that she needs to be clear in communication so that her family could truly celebrate her in a way that she feels supported, so that she can give back and continue to be the strong foundation for her family. So where, if you need to, where could you strengthen your foundation? Is it a conversation you need to have? Do you need to be more patient? Our next question is about invoking the senses, which ultimately get you into a space of gratitude and contentment. So what does invoking the senses mean to you? What comes up? What are you seeing in your everyday world? Are you seeing an untidy workspace? Are you seeing a pile of books that you are reading? What's on your nightstand? Or what do you see first thing in the morning? If you don't like what you see, how can you make it more pleasurable? enjoying the smells around you every day. The smell of morning coffee, or your favorite juice. I was coming back from a walk the other night and the night blooming jasmine was out. That's the first time I've smelt it this season. It was just so beautiful. What about the smell of your tomatoes, if you're growing any? What are you tasting in your day-to-day? Are you tasting sweet words of love and greetings in the morning, and I love yous during the day? Are you tasting nourishing food? Are you tasting bad news all day long? Are you limiting that sour taste? And what sounds are you listening to? Are you filling your space with music? I just finished a virtual choir project, and it was about filling our spaces during the pandemic with love, and we're sanctifying our space. So if you think about our spaces, that we've been in our spaces a lot more, what are we filling it with? What sounds? And I thought that was an interesting perspective. If you sing at all, or dance in your space, you're creating memories of joy. I'm just going to read you the card that I pulled for our group intention. Again, I read it in the beginning, but I want to read it again. I am a wise being who has access to endless fountains of sacred wisdom. I use my gifts of wisdom and discernment to hold healing space for others as well as our planet. So obviously what we do, it ripples out. And this earth sign of Taurus is very grounded. So just a couple more minutes just to wrap up the writing. And then actually right at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, our time, the moon turns into Taurus. So that's the actual time at 12 noon. So the most magical time to set our intentions is in the first 8 hours. So we're preparing, if you like. So if you don't have everything set, your intentions right now, that's okay, because you have 8 hours after 12 noon Pacific. Of course, if you're on the East Coast, we're already in it, in that magical space. So I'll read you my poem again, just in case you missed it in the beginning. Beauty bound with endless love, waxing and waning, as is below, so is above. Intention set in solitude and grace, moontime blessings will come in time and space. Ocean tides and waves dance in rhythm. Stand strong, get quiet, listen. 'Tis time to breathe and envision. And I do invite you, if you'd like to write a poem, to send it to me for next month. Or if you have a favorite one, let me know and I can read it. So as always, I like to ask everybody if you had any aha moments from our last month's new moon ceremonies as we worked through the waning and waxing and the quarters, the times of the month. There are 8 phases, so I often equate that to the chakra system or even an archetypal wisdom. We can touch on different archetypes as the moon goes through its phases. So right now with the dark moon, it's the wise woman time. The wise woman that was like a Hecate, goddess Hecate, wise woman of the crossroads, that people would come at the crossroads and ask her advice which way to take. It's not necessarily a time for action as it is later in the month, but it's a time to get quiet and tap into your intuition. So the moon is a reminder of our cycles within. So next month, our moon, new moon is, let's see, it's June 10th, and that's Thursday, and it's in Gemini, the twins. But Thursday mornings are not great for me, so I'm thinking about doing it on Wednesday 9th. Oh, that works. Okay. A lot of people couldn't make it today, so but that's the beauty of recording, and also because I can get it out so fast. So I'm thinking about doing it on the Wednesday, June 10th, and it's in Gemini. No? The 9th, sorry. It's right. Okay, yeah, June the 9th. Yes, that's right. So feeling like this is a good time to wrap up for today. And just an invitation to, take your time with your intentions and to enjoy this dark moon, not to feel like you have to shine brightly like the full moon. And I'd also invite you to, if you can, look up in the sky, as we work through the moon phases in the month. And I have a spot in my kitchen window so I can look up, and I always can see it. I can see the quarters. It is such a great reminder. I'm like, oh, that's right. It's the quarter, it's the first quarter, or it's the second quarter. Or if it's, waxing crescent, which is, it's, starting to get bigger after the dark moon. And that's a great reminder that your seeds are growing and your intentions are coming to fruition. And then the first quarter, if you look up, this is the time to really commit and say your intentions out loud. And then turns into waxing gibbous, which is a time to review, and that's right before the full moon. So we can see the full moon shining. I often think of the reflection. What reflection are we giving others when we look into the full moon? What are we radiating out? And it's a time where you typically have more energy. I don't know if you've been noticing your energy during the moon phases too. If you feel a little bit more contemplative during the dark moon, whether you feel you're more alive in the full moon. I do notice traffic is a little bit more frenetic during the full moon. If you ever have to drive anywhere during a full moon, yeah, there are more accidents that happen during a full moon. And then when we come out of the full moon phase, we're going into the waning gibbous. So this, as we head towards the last quarter, and then the waning crescent, and then the new moon again. So the cycle begins again. So enjoy this time, and I will see you again next month in June. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be of service. I decided this is what I wanted to do, and be of service during this year. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Helen Hodgson, owner of Transformational Goddess Retreats. And I use the ancient wisdom of the goddesses and the moon phases to help women tap into their intuitive insights and to harness their well-being. And it's something I'm very passionate about. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you next month.